pew. Just a dope ass podcast. Pew 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 pew. Just a dope ass podcast. Pew pew pew. What's going on, everybody? Hi, reporting live from motherfucking Careersville. Yeah. Today's the day. Whenever I upload this, y'all go get it. And don't ask me shit else about what y'all been talking about this week. I really thought. I ain't gonna hold you. I really thought we talked about this that I was gonna be able to, like, if we just wait another week, this shit will blow past. They didn't give Chris Brown a fucking doctorate yesterday.
Side note, I mean, I'll
Yeah,
give a little joke with a little serious. Serious is they gave E41 too. Shout out to Grambling.
I'm okay.
That that's a little more legitimate. I get he didn't donate it to. He went to the actual university.
He
He's
did.
donated to the music department.
Shout out to us.
Why not give E40 a doctorate? I think they should have gave him one in music and business, but they gave him one in music, which is relevant and fitting, and he's demonstrated the the acumen to actually acquire said PhD. Like he's accomplished a lot. So like some honorary doctorates are well deserved.
I,
Chris,
you know what?
on the hand.
Let me back up just a tad. Cause you know what? It's the more that I've been, that's cool thing about us taking these little breaks, putting some of these things together. I'm going back and looking at clips. God damn it. We ain't been wrong. Motherfuckers been early. I didn't pay attention to how long ago we had got this shit about the way. Yeah, we gotta get big tomorrow. Cause it's like, look, man, I'm tired of y'all revisiting and telling me shit that we talked about. At least her first, this is the Cheyenne Bryant, like 10 minutes is all the fuck I'm gonna give y'all. I remember we talked about her on that first Breakfast Club interview, which was at least a year, 2 years ago, because that was when she had like jumped in Cam's ass, which is already low hanging fruit, and that's not necessarily our bad, but I was giving you the benefit of the doubt. But in that interview was something along the lines of, like, some quote she said about we can't change. And I remember immediately that being like, there's no way you work in this field and like take the work seriously outside of, making money and blah blah blah. But if you take the work for real serious, there's no way you get on here and say people can't change. Not to mention, if we want to talk about like neuroplasticity and things like that, there's just evidence of your brain can change. You can change. That's the whole fucking point of the field. That aside, my issue moving forward, the person is a fuck. But y'all, I just had time to sit and see a lot of stupid shit. A lot of conversations that I just was like, yo, man, it don't hurt. It's not painful to take this perspective. It's not crazy to make the mental leaps, because Google is so fucking free. You know how easy it is to Google honorary doctorate, and it just tells you right then, hey man, this in no way is like some type of like substitution. But what we are doing is recognizing that in this craft, you have done amazing work in this field. And a lot of times it's music shit. There's philanthropy behind it. Like we're gonna give you that. Does that mean that I'm gonna let you come in here and teach me a motherfucking thing? Probably not. The academy has its fucking shit for a fucking reason. This is not even a shot at Chris or any of the people. That school, uh Christian Heart, whatever the fuck. See, whatever it is down there in Atlanta. Atlanta, chill out. Atlanta, please chill out.
If they gave, I didn't see what they gave Chris an honorary for. They just
It was accurate. It was a doctorate of philosophy. I think they just throw philosophy around in visual and like performative arts or some shit like that.
I was gonna say if they give him a dance or performing arts doctorate, cool. One of the best performers,
Mm-hmm.
one of the best performers of this generation. The Michael Jackson of this generation, so to speak. Not my words, but whatever. But I won't take that away from him. Great performer. You can say whatever you want about his personal life. You can say whatever you want about him or his music or whatever. He's a great performer. He's going to give you a top notch show every time, and he's going to make sure he's very diligent when it comes to his dancing and theatrics and things of that nature. So, deservingly so. He has shown acumen when it comes to dancing and performing. So, if it's a performing arts honorary doctorate, absolutely. Especially because he's been doing it since the early 2000s. So, in the grand scheme of things, he's put in hours and shown success that of which a doctor would have acquired. Right. So,
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with those things. Or like back when I remember when we were younger, they gave Talib his honorary. I forget what his
Mhm.
honorary was in. You got Lupe, who's an actual professor at an Ivy League school. Like you have people that may not have had the education as far as the traditional education that have shown the business acumen and knowledge to be deserving of such praise, so to speak. But Miss Bryant, on the other hand, she's been very loud and very wrong in so many different ways to show where us as professionals question like, do you really have the knowledge that you say you have? Because you say stuff that ain't none of us, none of the therapists are co-signing any of the stuff that they say, and it's the people in general. It's the people that will defend her as if we haters because we're looking at somebody that's supposed to be in our field saying shit that is just egregious, and we be like, nah, we don't fuck with none of that. That's not accurate. That's not good. And actually, where the fuck is your paperwork? And we haters for doing so. I can see E40 and Chris's degree. Bitch, where's yours? I haven't seen you produce not one, not a transcript, not a degree. You got a bunch of certifications in the background, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, there was that viral photo of her talking about something or other. And I think that's where like, I first glance, I'm like, cool, I can understand, but like people taking their time and I was like, all right, man, this would be maybe, this would be something maybe to unpack somewhere anywhere as to why this is, I don't know, being handled in the way that it's being handled. People have their opinions about it. Because it's like first knee-jerk thing is to go through, I saw a bunch of white man's paperwork. Now, there's pieces of truth to that. Obviously, man, we all live in this motherfucker. Like it's institutional, is systematic racism left and right everywhere. So my next thought would be like, why would you, as a black person, not think that there are black people in this field doing the work? Like at this point, we're gonna have to have a counter for how many times I say this woman's name, Dr. Raquel Martin, who is working with other people of color. I think it's like, there's some way that she terms it, but it's like adding liberation and black people focuses to, your therapy, because a lot of these frameworks were not originally created for us. So you'd have to have a certain amount of knowledge to them to then go in and implement this. People talking about like the things that I guess Dr. Bryant was doing. It's like, look, man, it's one thing to be a Chris or an entertainer and like get recognition for what you've done in that field, but I wouldn't have that shit for my medical doctor, my fucking dentist. I want my goddamn plumber to have gone to trade school and be a fucking surgeon with these goddamn pipes and shit. So I'm not gonna be like, oh man, you used to just plumb shit. So I'm gonna let you just come in here into my motherfucking house and dick and fuck around. It's just a weak. I don't know. I empathize to a certain degree with the whole defend a black woman thing, but also, man, y'all just are kind of like allowing bullshit to happen, and it causes harm. Like whatever that girl woman that came out was like, I have gone. It was her story was like I had gone to therapy before. I suffered with like anxiety and depression, and she was I think it was PTSD, my fault. And she was like, I had gone to therapy before, and I understood what it was like to have somebody implement skills and help me process and work through my trauma and give me like tools in order to kind of not let this just direct and distort my life. I go in here with her because I'm thinking I see the doctorate. I'm seeing that I'm expecting a level of expertise. I get in here and it's just like talking with my homegirl. And I felt fucking slighted. I got fucked over like that. And nigga, that shit do harm. I get that it's new that people like this is just gain popularity, but the shit's doing harm. And that shit was how niggas was handling it and discussing it was crazy.
Yeah. I'll two things. I guess I'll start with that part first. The doing harm, because if I'm not mistaken, a lot of people's argument and even Umar's argument was that like she's not harming nobody. Like yes, she is. That's why we're so upset. Y'all don't understand how much harm she's doing just by her being on these platforms and saying the goofy shit that she says, and y'all don't realize how harmful that is because y'all take in content every day that's super harmful and y'all don't recognize how harmful it is. I don't say job security for us for no reason. Say it all the time because it's legitimate. Y'all really don't understand how harmful a lot of the stuff that y'all take in is for the psyche, is for the mindset, is for the emotions and the nervous system, emotional stability, and all these different things. Y'all don't recognize how detrimental it is, which is going to keep us employed, which ultimately is keep hurting because y'all willing to pay her and look at us like we crazy. We have the actual paperwork on our wall. Whole nother situation. But going back to the like, you mentioned the argument of people like, oh, that's the white man's paperwork. And for me, it's always like, well, paper is white man's construct as well. And y'all love money. Money is white man's construct indefinitely. Like they created this thing that we have to be bound to, so to speak. Even though ours is losing its value faster than I can lose my bowel. But this shit is just nuts how y'all love money so much, but then you look at a collegiate education and say, well, that's just a white man. Well, if you're gonna pick and choose which parts of the system that you want to be a part of, why not just throw away all the shit? If you can say college is not useful because that's just the white man's yada yada yada, why are you still holding in high regard something like the concept of I need money in order to do X, Y, and Z? Why can't you? I don't see y'all trying to go live off the land. So clearly, it's kind of like we've talked about here when it comes to not to shift the topic. Of course, we got to throw some relational shit in. When we talk about patriarchy, how we've talked about women will pick and choose their favorite parts of patriarchy that support them, but not the parts that they don't get to control, or something like that. It's the same concept. Like if you're gonna be mad at a structure, at a concept, at a system, be mad at all of it. Don't be mad at parts. So you can support her and say, you don't need the white man system. She can go ahead and she ain't hurting up. If you can say all that, then make sure that you understand the other parts of the bullshit. We trying to move the goal.
Yeah, I think that that part of like the bullshit, I guess, is telling it to me, and I think for parts of that, parts of it is like, I think you don't know what you don't know. You would be outraged about shit that you, and this is not from some like I'm super smarter than you, like you just didn't understand. But then I think some are like, I don't know, man. Like I even use Umar, man. I'm like, man, it's some of you niggas. I don't know. I am very okay with being my super high intellectual self, but also a regular nigga, man. That motherfucker hot. I just don't feel like defending in opposition to your field is not gonna get you the booty ass. I
This
think that there is a certain brand of nigga that is just saying, and I don't know, man. Part of that is like, God damn, bro. Like I'm a regular dude. I'm making regular income, so the money ain't changed me. So big ass titties, man. God damn, big big light skin titties too. Those are light skin titties, and it's not white titties. Those are big light skin titties.
oh yeah, yeah. These caramel titties.
Them is Creole titties.
Yeah, these Creole titties. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Shout out to the lady. She got
Yep. Nice New Orleans pear.
all pan.
Yeah, not nice New Orleans pear. And yeah, like I don't know, man. I think I said this the other day on my story. I was like, dog, because people acting like that shit like don't matter. And I just feel like the to add on to the just ongoing conversation online, like intellectualism is dying. It used to be a time, nigga, Einstein and them motherfuckers would pull up and clear the block. Oh shit, the smart motherfuckers is here. They saying some shit. Uh uh fucking Socrates and them niggas, the philosophers used to pull up, clear the block. Everybody stop doing what they doing. These niggas finna say some shit. Martin Luther King, WEB and them. Oh shit, the thinking niggas is here. We are prioritizing fucking thought. The idea that you can get online, make it aesthetically pleasing, and that qualifies as you having a great point of view as opposed to, no, nigga, you just align with this. And this point of view allows whatever your worst parts of yourself, you don't have to justify it. This nigga's cool because he making money. You like that because you poor right now, and you idolize money as opposed to this motherfuckers on bullshit. I don't like now all of a sudden like education and shit don't matter because you don't want to do it. And
Yeah,
I get it. There is systematic bullshit within education. I'm not just taking up on some like I went to school and I'm smarter and better. But the way niggas is getting online arguing for a motherfucker who is objectively just saying wrong shit. I'm gonna go back to that statement in itself. Like, you cannot change, we just mask. That's insane for a people who is going through, I don't know, man. We ain't gonna never drop below the top two most depressed, fucked up motherfuckers ever. And the things that we experience and go through and the behaviors that come out of that shit to say that niggas motherfuckers can't change. Bitch, have you seen the stats on certain shit? To act like that can't be changed and that we can't have an understanding of psychologically what that's done, the systems and sociological shit that's done, that is done, and how that affects us. To say that shit is crazy, and to want to, I don't know, that would be some shit. That would be some shit you can unpack in some therapy, nigga. Especially if you have some social resources to help you on the shit that you just can't change. Yeah,
yeah.
nigga, that would be some shit to unpack because that don't make no fucking sense. That's not use your brain cells, son. Damn.
I mean, I think we've talked about this off air. I don't know if we've talked about it on, but we probably have over these years. I'm sure we mentioned it at some point. But I think for me, the most aggravating part is like, how do you not see through the bullshit? As a therapist, why would I get into a field that's for self betterment and wellness if I believe that that's not possible? That doesn't make sense. That should be the first flag that somebody is a grifter. That's like me. I'm a nutritionist, but I don't believe you can actually change your diet and eat healthy. There's no way. You fruits and vegetables, that shit is a scam. It's a scam and a lie. And eating healthy is a lie. It's okay to eat McDonald's and other fast foods like that. You can't tell a grifter when you see one. I've literally had that conversation in session with people of like, do you really think like I'm savable? Am I just too fucked up to ever hit? Like, bro, do you really think I would go into debt to get a degree and dedicate my life to something where you can never change? Like, I'm just gonna get some clients at the beginning of my career and I'm gonna have them until the end because they gonna pay my life forever because you're just never gonna improve. Do you think I would choose to go into that field? Am I motherfucking? I can see if I was working selling alcohol.
Mm. Yeah, man.
I'm
The name of the game is to get you up out of here. You're not supposed to
not
forever
trying
be.
to keep you here forever. I'm not selling lashes and the bullshit that I need you to be dependent on. I'm not selling you a vice. I'm selling you healing. Why do I think that you would not be healable and decide to get into this field and make money off that? The purpose is for you to heal. It's contradictory. It doesn't make sense. So for someone in this field to say, yeah, people don't change. Right? People can't change. It's impossible for them to change. What? That just for me, even going back to the example of liquor, there's people that were severe alcoholics or severe addicts, and they change. They are in recovery. Whatever, however many years. I'm 20 years in recovery. I'm fighting it every day. Yada yada yada. They are actively making the change every day and have been consistent with said change for 20 plus years. So that's a change. So you saying
Mhm.
addicts are always addicts? They may refer to themselves as such. It's like, no, I'm an addict in recovery and I'm fighting, but that's terminology for them. But they're not using, so they never change. It's just the whole concept of what she was saying was just foolishness. And she blew up after saying that goofy shit. She blew up even more after saying that goofy shit. It's like, how do y'all not see people that are peddling the poison? It doesn't make sense. I think that's normally my frustration with the masses.
Yeah, I think, and I know sometimes this might be whatever ways niggas like lives have gone, like I think there is a desire for the easier answer, the answer that doesn't come with like so much work or so much hardship, because motherfuckers' lives are what they are. Um, and yeah, like if you get up here and you are spewing the I don't know, man. The Instagram quotable is my favorite fucking topic. Um, that sounds much easier than what you would endure going to a session, going to a couple sessions. Because like at a certain point, my job is not to just give you pats on the back. My job is to help you. And my job is to kind of help us kind of unpack and that's another fucking thing. Y'all gotta stop positioning this shit as you come to therapy just to vent and unpack. Nigga, we finna unpack it, but then I'm also gonna help you. We gotta pick this shit up. If we say clear this whole room out, yeah, man, it's gonna be a lot of mess when we clear out all this shit, put all this shit on the floor. And now we're gonna have to take some of this shit and put it back and decide which some of this shit we're throwing. We clearing house. Y'all done spring cleaning. It's I use that analogy a lot, actually. Like, that's a lot of work though. It's one thing if I just say, oh man, all this shit is this is how you live in here. You just have to live on top of the boxes. Just put a nice comforter on it. And no, man, we have to clear out these boxes. We have to dump this shit that you don't like. This will be a long time. It's a process to dump it. We did the good for the day. I'm tired now. We finna go get us some food. We gonna come back in this room tomorrow, dump some of this other shit out, explore what the fuck we need and don't need, and then we have to re-put this shit. We have to put some recomposition to this room so it makes sense for you to live in this motherfucker. That's the process. So I think also it's a little. I think motherfuckers are doing they doing it on purpose, and so yeah, my desire would be for people to kind of yeah, to take 2 seconds to listen, like, "All right, man, like, I hear what they're saying, but we could put a little bit of critical thinking behind, like, why the fuck would they say that? Why would you get up here and say some shit like that if you weren't trying to direct it to a different path? I'm gonna discredit the therapeutic process if I cannot give those skills. And as a motherfucker, Imma let everybody know, like, I feel like I'm one of the newest booties in the field. Like, you can just admit like I go to supervision once a week to get fucking help and assistance like hey you who has 15, 20, 30 years in the game like I'm running it this way how do you oh okay yeah cool that's great you might have a natural affinity but the idea of like that's another thing too fucking life experience is great I'm a nigga with a lot of life experiences my resume long than a bitch my experience going through so fuck how we met, everybody. Like if you going through group homes and behavioral specialists, this and the field is vast. You can do a lot of fucking things that are like that seem therapy adjacent while you doing them. Nigga, doing all that, and then they say, all right, man, now you in this room with this motherfucker, use your skills. It's still a far cry difference of skill set. Like you can have some natural affinity, but I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna tell you what I used to do and what I do now are very different skill sets. There are things that I know that I did well, I had impact, but I for sure was like missing. Oh shit, I didn't even know that. When I think back, damn, I probably could have. And so to say that somebody can just like, oh, do that because you're a naturally good talker or a good, like you're a good listener, I think you can, I'll give you a natural affinity, my boy. You might be able to use the force naturally. What them motherfucking Jedi's is doing, you not doing. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Because there has to be application. Even if you do have a world of knowledge, a world of lived experience you go through, you still have to apply the knowledge that you gain. So, it means nothing if you smart as fuck and don't do shit. A lot of people assume that they are smarter than they really are, but you ain't applying it. So what's the point? Like you said, what's the point of talking about mental health if you don't actually want to unpack the process that you explained a couple minutes ago? A lot of people don't want to do that process. They don't want to unpack. They don't fucking unpack when they move to a new apartment. So you know they ain't gonna pack their goddamn emotions. Unpacking is too hard. I don't want to pack or unpack. I want to know where the scamming ass niggas is at. That's what they're concerned about these days.
When I'm a scamming ass niggas and
Exactly. Somebody jokingly but seriously, where's the people that can make my life easier to where I don't have to do it? I don't want to go through the process. I
spin
don't
that
want to
shit.
work. I want to go ahead.
He says spin
I want,
that
I
shit.
want the easy way, right? Spin it fast. It's the same concept. I want to go to not disrespecting coaches because I am a coach as well, but like I'll rather go to a coach that's going to tell me some shit or give me certain surface level answers. opposed to doing therapy where I gotta actually unpack the difficult shit. I've had plenty of clients where we take longer in therapy because they keep dodging. I give you homework, you don't do it. I
Yeah.
keep telling you let's unpack X, Y, and Z, and they it's too hard, it's too uncomfortable, and they find ways to try and like divert the conversation away from me trying to unpack things with them. We talk about it in therapy, in practicum, or as you mentioned in supervision, how like you might have to fire a client at some point because you're not here to do the work. You wasting time, and I don't want you wasting your money. I have an ethical responsibility to like try and unpack this with you and be patient with you. But if you keep ducking and dodging it, we got to take a pause or I got to fire you because we're here to do work and you're not doing the work. I'm working harder than you, which means you're not going to get any. So I need to go ahead and give you some time away so you can figure out when and if you're ready to actually do this difficult process. That's here.
Nah, man, the way this works is you you hold it. You don't process or work through it, and then you drop Iceman, and then you drop Habibti, and then you drop Maid of Honor. You stay there. We're not gonna do no introspective stuff. We're gonna stay there, and then as a fan, you're gonna be like, damn, that speaks to me because I like to stay there. And that shit,
I
it's
mean,
it's authentic. Hey,
jokingly but serious, I think that can speak a lot to the fact that Drake and how he approaches things emotionally, his perspectives, all the other stuff. The fact that he's been such a big artist has for so long, he shaped so many people's perspective on life and how they see each other. I'm not surprised by people aren't to do work because that's your example.
I think actually, like the crazy thing about this is I wasn't expecting, some people I think also are just like riding whatever the popular wave is. But I do think that there's like some weird little thing to watch, like culturally about like how people are like there's way more motherfuckers who are like, hey man, this shit is not slapping the way like it once was. Like people maturing past some of his music outside of like, the diehard motherfuckers who are um like diet red pillars. I think like I don't know. I don't have the words just yet to put it all together, but like him being kind of diet red pill, those who are associated with his shit being like the red pill conservative bag, and then the climate that we're in as a country and as society, like all that shit hitting like side by side. I've been sitting here just looking at that shit like for the past couple fucking days. Cause I listened, I went so I can be I'm an ethical hater. I went, I listened through a good chunk of all the albums. I was like, okay, I'm getting what I'm getting. And it's just funny seeing a lot of the discourse kind of go, "Ah, you know, this is not, and I think that I don't know, I feel like that's kind of some of that shit we talk about on here. Like, when are you gonna? And I feel like if you align with certain, you're in a certain headspace, you align with certain like views or ideals or whatever, at a certain point, yeah, that shit has to like click unless you just have some type of like, disorder. You like, hey man, this shit is not, you know, this shit is not hitting like it like it's supposed to. What are we doing here? What you mean you up here talking to, I don't know, whoever, not all the streaming niggas, but he always be talking to the streaming niggas that was like platforming Trump and shit. You kind of, it's a through line on all that, on all them niggas on the headspace and the, where you have to be at for this to make sense. And it's somewhere back there. I know one of us said Drake is softcore red pill, and god damn it, niggas was correct.
Absolutely. The spectrum is fucking him and DJ Academic. A lot of you niggas fall somewhere on that line of spectrum. It's terrible. It's terrible. I don't understand. Sometimes I understand. I don't understand people's fascination with those types of mindsets. Like for a minute we was calling Drake emo Drake, right? Like that was just what people were calling him. But yet we still consume the music. Say around the same time, people were like, "Oh, emo Drake," but still love him, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. But you look at Kendrick and like To Pimp a Butterfly and stuff like that, like, oh, this is too whatever. Like you have people that present you with thinking or deeper topics or some sort of something, and somehow, some way, we find ways to like, whatever, it's just not, there's no replay value in Kendrick music and this, that, and the other. But like we've heard these narratives over these years, but you'll replay Drake. What's the substance there? I don't understand. Like we have a fascination with going towards what's the word I want to use? How do you describe like substances, alcohol, drugs, things of that nature? Like what's
It's
a different word for those?
I mean, there's the escapism aspect, but also it's it's easy. It's like, yeah, it's almost like it reminds me of like when you sitting in, if I'm gonna just fucking crowbar some therapy shit in here. If I'm sitting there having a conversation with you, it's the difference between like, if you want to talk to somebody and they're like, what's the difference between like therapy and like, I talk to my homegirl, I talk to my homeboy, man, that's my therapy.
Mhm.
Is somebody who might be more prone to not point out the difficult parts, the parts for growth, the part that, oh man, man, I can't believe she fucking cheated on me. She spun me. And it's like, yeah, nigga, but this was some motherfucking self-betrayal here. This is some people pleasing shit here. You was lying there. And so
Yeah,
like it contributed to this outcome because it wasn't, the foundation was weird. And like, this might, if you want to get extra psychoanalytic, we might get to talking about your motherfucking daddy or some shit. But the way people have obviously criticized Drake, say about like, not having more mature or introspective fucking works. And it's like you start the album. I know it was like a big thing. Like my dad had cancer, and like it was like also I felt like I was raising my big brother. Cool, we're kind of getting somewhere. That might be like motherfuckers think you say the thing and we don't talk about, all right, man, well, that has an effect. And that effect shapes how you view the world and interact with others. And then that's how you go out into society. And because of you going out into the world like that in your relationships, nigga, that shit has an impact on you. Whereas these same niggas was like, Mr. Morale doesn't have the slaps. And I think it kind of speaks also to what people might use music for. I like the slaps, but I also, art is art. Art is so sometimes ways that as a motherfucker who runs his mouth for a fucking living, there are certain things that you might get into a bag and it's like, damn, it's hard to kind of convey or verbalize this. But I might take my ass to a museum, shit break you the fuck down. You might play a song, nigga somewhere playing the shy lights or something, and it brings you back to whatever, because that's kind of what art does in a way where it might take you a minute to even get yourself into the, I don't know, space to kind of communicate and talk about it and blah 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 blah. So I think there is a certain thing, and people don't want to sound like elitist or dickheadish or whatever. But there is a certain thing where like, hey man, like you niggas are speaking at your, I don't know, man,
Mhm.
maturity level or whatever. And
Mhm.
so I think that is kind of where, because yeah, when I see a certain type of nigga, at least the creators or like the niggas a nigga who type out the ice cubes, it's niggas who quietly just listen to the album, like, sonically it sounds pleasing. The nigga doesn't make music that doesn't sound good sonically for the most part. I don't like that. But
Like none of the shit he done put out in the last 5 years to decade is hitting for me. That's my bias.
but I seen that take a lot, and I think that makes a lot of sense. I think that there was like a shift where dog just decided like, I know what pops. And again, if I'm tying it, we're talking about that like extra red pill conservative douchey fucking shift in culture. It's like, well, niggas not trying to really grow. Niggas trying to niggas doing the same shit. It's you see just as many, um, when it's like, if he don't buy that bag, da, 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 as much as you see them posts, you see the bow, down, 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 down. He was a man, blah, 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 blah. They the same people. And them
Yeah.
motherfuckers are in droves. And I think you can do you can add a bunch of shit to it. Pandemic shit, niggas not having no connection and communication with they, like, it's a whole bunch of shit that like just is contributed to that.
I'll say two contributing factors. One, going back to mention, like I think a lot of it is co-occurring disorders. Like we have a co-occurring disorder as a society. You know, we talk so much about anxiety and depression and all that stuff that spikes since the pandemic, but also Motherfuckers is hitting them nicotine boxes and hitting these dopamine boxes that's in their pocket on a regular basis so much that they're addicted to all these things and their nervous system shot. So not only are you struggling with some mental or emotional disturbance, but you also have some chemical disturbances as well because you keep being dependent on all these substances, which niggas like Drake kind of promote. But when it comes to the red pill demographic or the I think Drake did the same thing that Taylor Swift did. I think it, that's the white man in both.
Mhm.
They find out how to leech off a certain thing. The demographic that takes that in is the 20-year-old. They
Yeah.
just never grew with their audience. Like you've seen how other people have grown with their audience. Their music changes a little bit based on the demographic they first came in with. Whereas Taylor Swift still makes, I'm a heartbroken white teenager music the same way Drake makes the red pill esque, I'm in my 20s and I'm blah, blah, blah. Like, the nigga just never grew. Because for us, I got introduced to him, what, junior year of undergrad? That's
Yeah.
what, oh 07 for me? So yeah, '07, fucking So Far Gone is when I got
Was
introduced
that
to him. I thought,
'07?
yeah, that was like '07. I graduated in '08,
But
'09.
yeah, it was. It was like I know it was in that era. I do remember I was for sure deep into undergrad
Yeah,
classes at Grambling. Like, yeah, that was he was the soundtrack for a bunch of us.
right. And his music progressed to a certain point when that nigga was still baby faced, wheelchair Jimmy or whatever the fuck that nigga name was. But at some point when he started growing his facial hair and getting his body done, his music just stayed the same. He didn't age with his audience. He understood that staying in this market, making music for emotional ass 20-year-olds that want to see this life a particular way, that's my niche. Whereas that's why the people that love him so much will go out at Kendrick because Kendrick has grown with his music. He was already leaps and bounds above a lot of people when it came to lyrics and just understanding how to put things together, but he also matured in his subject matter as he's gone along, whereas Drake hasn't. If you they the same age, if I'm not mistaken, right? Them niggas is the same
Yeah,
age.
a couple. I'll give them best 2 years apart, whatever, maybe.
Right. Drake got what is the lover boy cover with a bunch of memes of pregnant bitches on the screen, whereas Kendrick is making shit that's Pulitzer Prize
Meet the
esque.
Nazi.
Right. It's the subject matter that I'm choosing to promote to the masses demonstrates my emotional ability. Drake has been stunted in this hurt 20-year-old version of him, whereas Kendrick has allowed himself to grow, talking about his family, talking about therapy and relationship techniques. Like he's talking about his growth process throughout all these albums where Drake can't. I don't
Yeah,
think he has the emotional ability to. So he's going to talk about what he feels and what he understands, which is that 20 to 29-year-old mindset or emotional maturity level.
yeah. I think there's like a arrested development in there, and I know that there's like I think most artists that I feel like I'm not or stop being a fan of, or they stop like they do kind of stay in that lane of like popularity is the currency as opposed to making good art. Like niggas, like the only way for this to land is if I stay. And I get that there's like something or it's just something to that that's bigger than them. Like the idea that like if I'm not a mega star at all given times, then I might not be the best. I might not be popularity. I guess there we go. Like I guess that would probably lead into like a capitalism type conversation. That popularity and profit is what creates in a lot of motherfuckers' mind, like I am the best because I do this, as opposed to I'm the best because I make the best bodies of work. Um, and whether you are like an artist, which not to I try not to dance, I try not to dance in some like elitist ass bag, but like why you make certain pieces of art, why certain pieces of art stick with you, why the motherfuckers, we talk about Mike being this big extravagant motherfucker, but you can bust down shit Mike was talking about. Mike was in. Mike was in also a different era of celebrity where like celebrity still had that fucking mystique to him. Like you saw Mike outside, it seemed like a fucking unicorn popped up. Um, if I see a motherfucker outside, I'm probably be more frustrated that you got 40 niggas with you and I can't get my motherfucking food. But um yeah, I have empathy to the fact that I feel like a lot of them are facing different, I don't know, man, obstacles given like social media and like how much oh, oh, wow. And it's like, I hear you, but also Beyonce don't talk to us at all. And then that motherfucker pop up, drop some shit, and fall off the face of the earth. So I just feel like, yeah, man, there is something to be said about, I don't know, man, that and maybe the groups you have around you about like, hey man, you don't have to do this. Like, we could do anything the fuck else. And I'm not taking away the niggas, didn't, betray him and treat him fucked up. But I probably made an album about like, my daddy who was my big brother fucking skipped lessons teaching me about how to move in the world. I
Mhm.
would have listened to that album left and right. As a nigga, I love my daddy. I love all and I love the fucking lessons, good, bad, and different that I feel like I moved through pretty all right. So that through the nigga, get me in the fucking. I don't know how to write, but I give you some perspective because as a nigga who worked with you, I see niggas who needed a male figure. That should have been that motherfucker's album. You have a son and no idea how to walk through. Oh boy, we would have got fuck. We'd have got 12 Grammys fucking with me, boy. Up here talking about I don't know some white bitch on the bathroom floor. What the fuck is we talking about? Why you fucking hoes on the bathroom floor? Nigga ain't walked the Circle K since '09. Why did you put that in the song? Just bullshit.
I mean,
Ugh.
we was hearing about in the '90s. Reggie Noble was fucking girls in the bathroom stall and the Burger King, shit like that. Like we heard them stories in the '90s, but people transition past those stories at some point, especially when you have a certain amount of money.
Yeah, man. I'm just, people saying, he living his life. My next big age, the next age that fucking matters for me that we're gonna do a big one for will be 40. If I hear a nigga right now, I don't really have a lot of no disrespect. I don't have a lot of 20-year-old friends. I got some 20-year-old acquaintances. All
Yeah.
my main group of niggas, we deep in the 30s now. But nigga get to talking too much, just Drake-esque logic. Like, wow, what's wrong with you? I cancel the whole night. Sit down. What do you mean by that? What are you talking about?
Lady folks too. There's a
No,
lot of
yeah,
them subscribe to them narratives. I don't anything that's in that realm of thinking or music, male or female. I'm not around it. So to your point, I mean, I'm clearly I'm reaching that 40 milestone this year. So got a lot of milestones touching. I don't have the time, effort, or energy to deal with none of that at this age. Anybody in their 20s, I can smell the lack of growth that you have at some point. I don't want to do it. If I'm around dudes in their 30s that's hunting after women in their 20s, I just get no, I don't want nothing to do with it. No disrespect to you, but I want to allow you to go through your growth journey, and I don't want to inhibit that in any capacity. So I'm just gonna step away and let you do that on your own, champ. You have fun with that. I'll meet you on the other side.
yeah. It's the recurring theme around here. Like there are certain things where it's like, we can all have conflicting or difference of opinions, and that's how you get growth. But there's certain shit like, yo, you can kind of clock where somebody may or may not be at on their journey of life or stunted journey. Cause everybody I think everybody assume everybody like is walking a certain path on this journey. And it's like some of you motherfuckers walking in circles.
Mm-hmm.
And
Hamster wheel.
yeah, and I'm like, it's cool for content wise, but I would advise a motherfucker, like, man, you can at least, I know you can't just cut everybody off. I'm not a fan of that necessarily, but you can mitigate interaction and like, where this shit because that at a certain point, my nigga, like there's a hey, this is a little much. Whoa, you getting annoying. Now we getting in the danger zone. And you will impact people's lives in a way that I wouldn't I wouldn't because you and y'all just all the logic y'all was putting together of it, man. Like he was betrayed. And blah, blah, you ain't lived life outside. No, I haven't lived life outside like that in a long time. You might give me a couple, depending on whose event, you give me a couple times a year, but you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to be lit like that all your life. Nigga, where your fucking I don't know where your fucking family at. Like, what the
I'm,
fuck?
I think that'll be a good example of I, I- how money doesn't necessarily change you in the ways that it needs to. And sometimes, like you having a massive amount of money may actually stunt you even more
Hell
and
yeah.
not focus on the growth. Randomly, I was just thinking, like, dang, Drake might be this generation's like Jim Jones too. Like as much money as you made, I don't think he's made more than Jim to where he can't completely blow through his money per se. But he's gonna get older and we gonna start looking at him like, hey yo, you low key corny. All the money ain't make you no better because you still stuck in a certain mindset. I can hear you have moments of wisdom, but I can hear you trying to hold on to an image or a lifestyle or whatever, and you just can't allow yourself to emotionally grow and mature the way that you need to. Like every generation is gonna have theirs, but I feel like Drake may be one of those.
I think so.
We're gonna look up 10 years later, 10 years from now, maybe longer, we're gonna look at Drake and he's still gonna be kind of floating around and gonna be like,
Yeah, I think sometimes the cool part about these things is like, if you're, we're making a big deal of it. This shit in the scheme of things is not the most important shit. I think I
Mhm.
do what I do with most things is I use it as kind of a distinguisher between who you want to have and who you don't want to have, who I feel like having certain conversations or interactions with because obviously, man, I don't think you should interact with everybody you just agree with off top, but I do think there's certain things you can kind of say like, "Oh, this is what really was rocking with you," or "This is what you found super. All right, cool. I kind of know where I can like land you as far as like person I might want to talk to or not engage with." And I think for that part is cool. I use this I be using music, and so far I ain't been too off. If there's a certain blast radius of like I like this music, this content, this, that. Not on some like I like some bullshit guilty pleasure. This is your thing.
Mhm.
Eventually, we can get into some social fucking conversations. You align with that. You think Stephen A. has a point? I got you. I guys don't even worry about it. You said this your favorite song. You said that about her, and she don't sound too bad. You just sound like a weird nigga. Stephen A. Your man? Yeah, all right. Nah, nah, yeah, because you wasn't talking about basketball. You saw that nigga sitting with I don't know, whoever the new age Republican is, and you said, you got the point. I know what type of nigga you are. Don't even worry about it. I'm not even mad about it. I appreciate this. I know we put you in this fucking bag over here and yomp that shit out the window. Yeah, like,
Yeah,
I'll give you a hug at the family reunion. However, I know you're not a motherfucker. I'm gonna let my kids stay at the house.
no,
you know,
not even a little bit. I'll have a minor conversation with you when we in the same space because we kind of have to. But will I go out of my way? No. But like you said, we've talked about it on here a number of times. I think we've framed it more so as being like music snobs to a degree. But like, yeah, the type of music that you listen to lets me know your mindset. It lets me know how you behave. It let me know the type of person that you are. I can tell from your playlist that I don't really want to fuck with you. And it's the same concept as far as the people you identify with, whether it's politically or people that you follow on social media or the posts that you reshare. Like there's always identifiers that let you know where somebody's mental and emotional space is at. And a lot of y'all don't realize you're being possessed.
this is. I was trying to look through because I didn't really ask about no questions or no shit. This was sent. God, this is a long fucking question. This
Is
is,
the question or somebody making a statement just trying to get their shit off?
you know, it's given the sender, it's a bit of both.
Fair.
It's because it's off the backs of a Professor Odie post.
Hmm.
Uh, one of the often repeated criticisms of Western psychology and the foundational theoretical point of Black Pan African psychology regarding the aforementioned is that Western psychology's primary concern is to assist its clients, consumers, patients to be better functioning in the context of an extortionist and imperialist empire. What that means for men, Western psychology is supposed to fix you so that you perform your role as a man more efficiently, not to prepare you to be honest about what it means to sacrifice your humanity for the aforementioned. Also, not for nothing, there's whatever that creator is going around giving people sentences to read. I think he's doing the Lord's work. I think I think that if that was used more often as just like a start off to this dating space, motherfuckers would say to them, you would either one save yourself a lot of turmoil, or you would have to get real comfortable with yourself about what you are doing here.
Yep.
You here for the booty ass or for that nigga to drop it off in there, and that's fine. I'm not judging you for that, but you would just save yourself a lot of emotional turmoil if it was like, oh, this is what I'm doing this for, because this person is not. We're not doing anything else, and
No.
that's fine. Everybody get a little freaky to freak off, but you didn't. I was bamboozled. I thought it was something else. How, baby? That
Well,
man.
that explains it. You thought it was something more because you thought that you could pronounce these words on these sentences that he's giving you, and clearly you thought wrong. Clearly, your comprehension skills and your ability to sound it out, to read the room or read this sentence, are both incapacitated. So I can understand why you thought this was what it wasn't, which is why I wouldn't even put myself in that position to confuse either one. I'm gonna
Okay,
save us both the trouble.
okay, I'm gonna break this. I'm gonna have to break this motherfucker down because it's three. So in response to that, because what I read before
I
everybody.
think if what I'm understanding, or at least what I'm taking from it so far, is basically like how the Western world is conditioning us. I think they mentioned males, but in conditioning us in general to not really understand ourselves properly.
Well, yeah,
And then
that was
when
that
we
the first thing I read was Professor Odie's post, which is what this question is in response to. Because
Mhm,
Odie's post basically was like, yeah, a lot of the original framework, like like y'all was the shit that y'all was trying to manipulatively say about with the Dr. Brian shit on some bullshit is that yes, these frameworks were originally created not with us in mind. So a lot of times to engage with them is to if you're not don't got your thinking cap on and have some cultural competency. My favorite piece of this, my
mhm.
favorite thing to say that I have is you will engage with others and it's basically just a fancier, more long drawn out way to get them backpacked into the system, do some patriarchal shit, fuck yourself up.
Mhm.
So this is a layered question. A clear throat. Here goes. Sometimes these conversations and posts sound like debates of natural selection versus sexual selection for evolution's survival of the fittest. Who are the people saying therapy is feminized, even if it is men talking about their emotion? Was this not created by men attempting to position themselves as being even more of a man than the man they are trying to downplay? But at the same time, isn't it men who are stating they want to be able to express their emotions freely like women do? Why is it hard to understand that all humans need to experience and express their emotions without judgment, regardless of sex? You're human first. Um, I can understand social conditioning, but how do you help one break away when all it takes is a handful of negative Nancy's to derail progress, no matter how many are actually in favor of this change? He also mentions therapy in its current framework with the talks and tools may not match how Black men operate, but isn't the goal to some extent learning how to be comfortable within the uncomfortable? Jesus. If talking is not comfortable for you, shouldn't you practice it with someone and with time and effort and patience, you grow to be more comfortable with it, temporary discomfort for long-term benefits, right? Uh, but also, if the tools of psychology were never including Black people, then how do we expect change to occur if we're using the wrong treatment? From my understanding, there is one course for Black psychology and all the courses to become a master level therapist. How are therapists challenging these tools and the research to make them more conducive to Black people? All right. Um,
I mean,
I don't.
I'll jump in a little bit first because at least I think the way that they're presenting this statement looks at therapy the same way that most people look at therapy, and that it's something people understand to a degree modality, right? So they think that we're supposed to approach therapy with a particular modality and do it this specific single way every single time, right? Kind of like EMDR. For those that don't know EMDR, you've probably heard of it, but EMDR is basically you're just reading a script. We help process certain things with you, but we go through this script. We have certain interventions that we do within that, like help you transition into it, help transition out of it to bilateral stimulation and all that, blah, 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 blah. But for the most part, you're just reading a script with EMDR. And I think that's what a lot of people think therapy is like we just do one thing a particular way every time because that's how white people do it. The part that they may be missing in their statement is that cultural competency, important, especially for us as therapists of color, be politically correct. But as real nigga therapists, we need to know how to understand how to meet our people where they are, as cliche as that is. But if I'm you and I understand where we come from and how we do things, I'm not going to apply the therapy space the same way that a white person would who only knows how to do it in the books. So yeah, I understand if you don't have a purview as far as what therapy really looks like and you think that it's supposed to be this structural book based thing that most people approach it as is cardigans and note taking, then yeah, you're not going to understand that people know how to finesse therapy to make it individual to the person that you're dealing with. So yes, we can work within this system or this construct that was created to either box people in and or oppress. We know how to keep people in place first. But that's up to the individual therapist to how to do that shit. And we're not all the same there.
Yeah, I think I guess yeah, piggybacking kind of off of what you're saying. I think some of well, let me try to like actually go back to some of the questions so I can make sure I'm not fucking this up.
Mhm.
Who are the people saying therapy is feminized, even if it is men talking about their emotion? So I would say like I don't know like the maybe year when like the shit shifted, but I would say there's things in this question that are not solely on the shoulders of therapy or psychology as a whole. Like
Mhm.
all of this shit is intertwined. Like some of the shit we in here talking about is like systems of patriarchy. So you did like a lot of this shit was we learned about a bunch of white men. We learned about the motherfuckers, they was off, have contributed tons of harm to society as a whole. Like, they did cool shit for the field, but then you learn some shit about them, yada yada yada. Um, so I think there's dudes, niggas that was in there that some of their initial shit was to try to like create weird standards of like us being less subhuman people, like because of our brains weren't, big enough.
Mhm.
And you start to get some of these like patterns and methods. Like if you look up some old school fucking like psychological fucking treatments and shit, them shit was barbaric. And so you get some of those ideas of like women were more emotional or less than this, and the theory of whoever the fuck. Niggas say a lot about Freud. Ain't nobody fucking with Freud. Nigga just booty holes and titty meats and just kind of a weird nigga. And you want to, sleep with your mom or whatever. Like so I think from that you get like, patriarchy kind of flips it that the people who do feelings are women,
Mhm.
and women are the only things that feel. Men are logical. You get a lot of books and a lot of shit that you read has nothing to do with niggas who really like were in the field. We get a lot of I think we get a lot of people who are like voices for the work we do that have no real experience in the field. Like you get that men from Mars, women from Jupiter shit, and that becomes that fucking wildfire. And
Mhm.
it's a bunch of, I think, co-occurring things happening once you get, I don't know, man, some shit like that while people are in the midst of trying to figure out their relationships, not understanding that some of the shit and issues in their relationship is because you're trying to operate under the guise that you are some robotic man and she deserves to be barefoot in the kitchen, not being fulfilled. Y'all don't talk, y'all fuck, you only fuck two ways, baby, up and down. Y'all wasn't eating ass, you know what I'm saying, just not touching each other. Y'all got, you the standard of like having family is built upon some 1920s Leave It to Beaver shit, which was built upon some shit that they did in the 1800s. You were having kids a bunch of times in case they died because you needed somebody to work the field. Like it's a bunch of moving parts that nobody knows about. And so when it comes to fucking black men, and black women, black queer people, black children, there's a angle of this where we are, I ain't gonna say figuring it out on the fly. That sounds a little flippant, but we are kind of creating this plane on the way down. Like we're taking frameworks that, okay, that's good from that. That was pretty racist or misogynistic, but this framework works. But I have to apply this to black men differently because I'm not getting patriarchy the way y'all say we are. That shit not landing with me. So I'm walking through life being told I need to operate like John Wayne. I ain't never in my life experienced John Wayne's level of privilege or power in this fucking world. So yeah, I might have to tweak this shit. Y'all are, and a good chunk dominating people of the field don't look like us. It's what are we, 4%? You know what I mean? And then black women are what, a whopping 10 or some shit like that. So it's it's a lot of that. What else do you say? Was this not created by? Okay, I just kind of covered that. Oh, and I think what was that video? It was a video you sent me the other day because this part was like I can understand social conditioning, but how do you help one break away when all it takes is a handful of negative Nancy's to derail the progress? I think that we underestimate the negative Nancy's because the negative Nancy's is not a handful. The negative Nancy's is society. It was a video. I don't forget the creator's name, but he sent me yesterday, and it's this black dad sitting in the car talking to his son. He asks his son a series of questions about like relationship norms, like who gets in trouble more. He's like, well, the black boy would get in trouble more at school, or who's more able to whatever. He's like, well, the girl should be able to have her emotions more. She should clean. He should whatever. Can a dad bathe his kids? He was like, well, no, that's what the mom does. And he was like, this nigga's never seen this. He's has a grandfather and a grandmother. The grandfather cooks. The grandmother can do, I don't know, fucking put a fan together. Like he's never seen these traditional views. However, it's ingrained in him from TV, from what he might be engaging with in school. So like negative Nancy's, I think that's why even now, like I'm not I haven't created people yet, but I'm very like cognizant, or like I guess we might even say passionate about some of this black parenting shit, because when I'm working with some of these families, they are in the like it's a again, this is why that Doc Cheyenne Bryan shit is super dumb, because you see motherfuckers that are trying their best to want to do what is best and what's good for their kids, not understanding that the fucking peg you're trying to squirt is a hole this big, and you got a triangle piece. It doesn't make any fucking sense. But if you're not looking at that shit and being like aware of, hey man, this whole framework that you're trying to put together is wrong. So we now have to do the work of getting rid of it and then rebuilding the shit on our own. And negative Nancy's is hard to undo when negative Nancy's is all of society outside, and the spiritual word and shade room and healed fucking bad bitch post. It's the same shit. It sounds very nitpicky, and I like being a dickhead online, but like that shit influences how you go about the world. Like my dad will kick a lot of y'all's asses just off of, and that nigga can probably bake. You know what I'm saying? Like, like, my mom, has always has had her nails done. She, old school. She got a bunch of rings, all the jewelry and shit, and she'll maul you like the one of the prettiest, daintiest motherfuckers on planet Earth would absolutely just maul you. It would be some shit like that Frank Castle would do. So, um, I don't think we recognize how much of that shit is like, we just operating on bullshit frameworks, and how like exhausted and desperate niggas are that you never had. It's a lot of mental labor to go like, where the fuck is this coming from? Y'all talk about we just sitting there unpacking. Yeah, nigga, you have to figure out where the fuck this foundation is. I can't give you some new shit unless I get rid of you. Look how long it take your motherfucking iPhone to update sometimes. I got to get this shit the fuck up out of here before I put this iOS real nigga up in there, boy. There's longer question. Healed is a term that comes up a lot in this realm, and I always ask why and how does it apply to emotional states? Since emotions are revolving and we don't possess the means to build time machines, yet to change the past, no one is healed after experiencing emotional traumas. Can you learn to respond to the external or internal factors differently? Absolutely. Okay, well you answered it. What the fuck? But can you pretend they never existed? No, because your body will remember even when you tell yourself otherwise. The body keeps score. There's a lot of flack for the body keep score book. I know what point you're trying to get to. question
Mhm.
asker, but they didn't kind of came after the body keep score. I didn't really look up why, but there's some shit behind that book. Um,
Yeah.
come from in the field. It seems like it can provide added pressures to a person who is already going through sensitive moments. The pressure to be perfect, healed, or actively working toward perfection, healing, in order to be deemed lovable. Granted access to certain spaces or worthy of certain experiences seems futile. Or is it not a real term used or was hijacked or overused by social media gurus? It was hijacked. Like, yeah, like I don't healed in the context that you will just be done growing as a person. No, but we are all in a process of healing, and like everybody's at their different level. There's ways to go about it. If you, I like to use the fucking. I didn't use this broken limb fucking analogy. I'm at least I'm at least at 50 clients I didn't use this motherfucker on. At least it's like your body's gonna try to heal regardless. Now, if you it's a difference between you setting the bone, maybe depending if it's a compound fracture, you pushing that motherfucker in, you doing some surgery, you doing some real fucking you cleaning the wounds, doing all that. Cool. If you just leave that motherfucker there, your body gonna try to heal it naturally. It's gonna do the best it can. So yeah, I don't think that I don't and I think that's why I don't know, man. I'm gonna always shout out us. You might need a second opinion, a second set of eyes to explore these concepts because social media is not the space where you should get your information from. It could
Mm.
spark something. Social media sparks a lot of ideas with me, but I think there should be wherever you get the skill set to critically assess some shit. Go look it up. Go read it. You said this is a concept. I see motherfuckers all the time in the field like, oh man, I love this modality or I love this. I will go Google it. I will go look it up if I have time. I also will look up the motherfucker who said it. And you can save yourself a lot of fucking effort if you go to the page and yes, that motherfucker got 976,000 followers. However, that motherfucker is just Todd McGillicuddy, a nigga who used to he camps a lot, he wears boots and he takes nice pictures, and he been telling you about self help. That motherfucker ain't got no background in that shit. And you waited around long enough, he beat his wife and ain't seen his kids in 2 years. So like or you have a Dr. Brian. She been talking to y'all about distortions and you can't change, and she was in the bump 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 video. That's it. She just used to turn around and bump bump bump. And that's it, man.
People could change.
Okay, this is breaking this down helps because, and I'm not trying to deter any of these type of questions. But
No,
you
no.
had it on your motherfucking mind, boy. Ain't no more questions
It's
after
like
this. Yeah, this is if you know what, this is cool for question time. I missed the song and shit, but like if this one person can do this, I ain't gonna ask 2 of y'all. I'm gonna just ask one of y'all that got some shit to say. Yeah, and also there's another thing. As a motherfucker who is bound by the BBS because she couldn't get that together, the Board of Behavioral Sciences. I have an associate license. This is not a fucking session. To where this is just us giving our opinion. These motherfucking things aren't sessions. This is two motherfuckers who know a thing or two about it, just giving our fucking 2 cents. Don't fuck it. Then you ain't finna sit up here and say you heard me say some shit and that qualifies as therapy, bitch. Shut up. I have a good opinion. I would like to direct you to some work. This could be a launch pad, but yeah, you ain't man. Fuck y'all. Y'all ain't never. Y'all
don't
done
look
like
at this
and
as the healing. Please don't look at this as the healing.
yeah, this nigga was already a Jedi. Y'all motherfuckers and seen me start and then get across the stage. Don't fuck me. Hey, yeah, I'm not bullshitting with you, but um, lastly, many posts state women need to learn how to sit with men's emotions or validate men's emotions. Personally, I have no gripe with this. Are men ready to take the lead on this and become teachers? Realistically, uh, what does the timeline look like to show at least a 20% increase in this? Oh, you're fucking serious. Um, it's going to be a learning curve for both sexes. Just like women can expect men to flip on the switch and just start verbally expressing themselves, women cannot just flip switch to assist with holding the weight of the male experience all at once if it has never been done. Baby steps or teenage steps have to be taken with proper tools. We're not going to change society, but we can change how we operate with one another to make things simpler for each other. Is there a universal foundation for the masses, but not like in a utopia sense? Easy answer, no. Um,
Mhm.
because I think I know this is another fucking. I don't know if it's just a dope ass excuse, but I know we say this a lot. Like, as especially as like a millennial, like being in the generation, I think that is amidst the pendulum swing. Like, I can remember, or even like, I'm not 50 generations off of like I remember I've engaged with my grandparents. They're from the era of like, women are to be seen and not heard, and like that era of niggas used to fences. Like I know niggas who lived in the fences era. Like they're your OGs. That shit pop. Like he might not have like he might have rose. You might be you might be that other family. That's another conversation for another day, but whatever. Um and so like being in the generation that is simultaneously like trying to learn, teach, and experience these things to like unpack and redo. Like I ain't never heard, like I don't think nobody prior to us has heard the term patriarchy as much as we might hear in a fucking week. So unfortunately, I think that whatever's happening now is the attempt to do that thing. Um, I would say like if I'm trying to speak at it from like yeah, like a personal like therapeutic point, like you would have to figure out what part of that you want to unpack. You are part of this experience. So, you know, as much as this is my time to be fucking facetious. Yeah. If men got to go have the conversation with men and figure it out, you got to go have the conversation with the ladies. This was the lady who asked these questions, so you have to go back to the lady meetings, the monthly lady meetings where all the ladies meet up and y'all get on a Zoom call and everybody get up in there and scamming ass and y'all play y'all song, y'all be dancing and to be like y'all wear matching outfits and shit and go to brunch. When that happens, part of that conversation while this niggas ain't shit, there has to be you don't have to use the word accountable because I don't even think nobody knows what it means anymore. But there has to be some responsibility for how you want, I guess, your relationships and the framework how your people want to move through. So you have to be there has to be conversations like that, and not just conversations. We all conversate, but you have to figure out ways to be actionable in that. If you didn't, it's your seventh relationship. That boy is 9, man, your world, but they all got the same track record. At a certain point, it's not none of this just was you just I wasn't loving myself enough. True. But my mom and my dad and my elders, they loved me. Love looked like I got a new toy, I got some ice cream, I got hugs and kisses and great birthdays. Love also looked like I will clear this fucking room out, tear this TV off the wall because them grades wasn't right. Love looked like getting popped. Love looked like getting a good talking to. Love looked like I don't give a fuck who's throwing what this weekend. Your ass not going because this didn't get done. That is also love. So if you love yourself so motherfucking much, I ain't heard you love yourself enough to bust your ass. I don't know, baby, since middle school. You've been just giving yourself deep, passionate hugs for every behavior you've ever done. And I don't know, man. Maybe we should love better, my nigga.
Absolutely. I mean, to your point, like you said, a lot of people they can't replicate love because they don't truly understand the broad spectrum of what it actually is. They don't understand what love looks like. They understand the Love Jones esoteric performative aspects of love. So, if that's what you used to being conditioned into thinking that it is, that's what you gonna do. I think that kind of contributes to the struggle, at least from the statement, the question. Like women struggling to hold men's emotion. They've been told that love and emotion has to look one particular way, and it's always been a one-sided conversation, how it's portrayed in entertainment media. So yeah, they're gonna struggle to be able to replicate the same thing that they're requesting from others when it comes to relationships. a deeper understanding of what these things actually look like, the good, bad, ugly, and otherwise, will definitely help people understand how to hold better, how to embody better, how to do it better, how to discern it better in others. Because as much as in the question we could talk about, like, is it reasonable for women to hold them accountable to be able to be more emotionally sensitive and like, we can talk about all that and how to raise it by 20%, but raising it by 20% is I have to understand how to choose better women that I'm dealing with by 50%. And maybe that 20% will change. So as much as I can sit up here and say, yeah, I'll say in my personal life, I had so many dudes come to me and say, man, I just can't this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. It's not these type of women out there. And I don't have that struggle, my nigga, because I don't choose the women that you choose. Like you could be my boy and all, but I can see the type of women that you gravitate towards, and I can see why you have the same experiences that you have. If there is a different version of you that is craving something different emotionally, you can't keep choosing from your primal behavior. There's plenty of women out there with nice brains and are emotionally mature and all that that are also comfortable just giving you a piece of the booty ass and keeping it casual. But if you keep going for the good looking dunderheads, you're not gonna have that experience, right? Like some of that you not seeing a certain response from women is because you don't understand how to choose better quality women to be around, and you're not being your authentic self. Same thing that people tell me all the time, man. I don't know how you end up doing this poly shit. Like I can't find this, that, and the other, blah blah blah. I'm not some superfluous nigga. I'm not the super six figure earner, six pack having. I mean, granted, I do fall into some of these categories, so never mind.
That nigga said, I still got it on me, bitch. Don't worry. Wait a minute. Like,
Right. I still look at myself as an average dude, but a lot of the experiences I get to have within poly and stepping into poly is because I'm honest with myself and I understand what benefits me and what doesn't, and I give people the autonomy to choose, and I give myself the autonomy to choose. Some of you niggas is just chasing shit around because it looks good, and then you get mad when it looks good turns into fool's gold. When nigga, you knew it was fool's gold from the start. Like, how did you not understand? So the best way to increase it is to have a different uh, expectation or understanding of the people that you're dealing with. Ain't no way I'm gonna go to the middle of the east side in one of these projects or Watts or some shit and expect a woman to come out of there and be everything that I need. It's just you gotta know what you choose. You gotta understand where you are. Some of y'all are book minded, but you hood behave and keep having the experience. You can't change your behavior. Change yourself. Understand love and the spectrum and expression and all these different things yourself. Be able to choose better women. Since you said these are women that are asking these questions, challenge your friends to be better too. Don't be a girl's girl all the goddamn time. The
yeah,
worst shit ever. I'm not a guy's guy.
I am not. That's man. I was talking to Chardon about that shit earlier. I am not a nigga's nigga.
I'm not.
I fuck I am not a nigga. You are wrong, my boy. So yeah, I'm not like I can be empathetic, I can be understanding, we could discuss it. But if there ain't no peace in this, I'm saying this is no way to have friendships or relationship like that where you've never said you were wrong. And I don't mean that fucking bullshit that y'all be trying to because y'all are making it bullshit now. These used to have good like terms to it. This idea that I'm saying you weren't loving yourself enough, like we just talked about. It's like, nah, man, tell that motherfucker they was wrong and they were active participant in some of this bullshit so they can maybe see something they're not seeing or at least acknowledge it. Cause like you said, man, you're not gonna keep telling me you on your sixth, seventh crazy, but nigga, you just like crazy motherfuckers. And that's cool if that's what you choosing. Cause then we can get to the parts that, like, this is back to the Drake fan conversation. We could just kind of sit with you either accepting these parts of yourself or either you want to change it. You like having a certain narrative, you like fucking with a certain type of person because it gets you this outcome. Nigga, you've been liking your Gucci for whatever. You don't want to fucking you don't like fucking going on dates and taking time with it. So she'll let you. However, she comes with this. You enjoy that or you figure it out. Because
Yeah.
you don't talk to the girl who's I don't know, a pre-law, whatever. She's trying to work on passing the bar. because maybe nigga, you kind of like to throw that money around because that requires that you have a certain level of power in the relationship. She shouldn't. Now there's a caveat to this because she should present as like some partnership shit, which creates a whole new dynamic. However, there is a certain dynamic with look, you had all the partnership thingies that on the surface level that I was attracted to. Now you in here talking to me like fucking what's her name? What the fuck is that about? Again, internal work. I'm speaking. This is look, man. We're being transparent. I'm speaking to me.
Yeah,
If you hit all the surface level shit, you got a good job, good career, good this, good that. Why the fuck we having an experience? I could have, I could have stayed with the loser. The fuck came over here for partnership. You tell, you'll never. Oh my god, it's just, uh, hey, whoa. I thought that we had some fucking get up and go about us. You sound like the loser. I could have stayed. I know where the loser's at. I came here for a reason. But now we get to do some reflection on like how we're in doing assessing these internal mechanisms. Because you had a conversation with her, my boy. You done had some talks. Y'all done discussed some things. You peeped it. You just thought, you know, nah. You should have kept that. You should have thought about that. There's some internal mechanism. There's some mindsets here. This motherfucker might not be ambitious for real. What this motherfucker is a victim of circumstance. She got to eat, and she don't want to go to that motherfucking oil rig. So all of a sudden, she's a nurse now, and she's up there. She's not bullshit, and she getting her doctorate in nursing and shit. However, you know, if you, I think this is a good conversation. To have. It's like if you were to hit the lottery tomorrow, nigga, if you was in the league or you dropped a hot record, would she just like not do nothing? Oh, I would love to not. That's something to think about. That's something to think about. Cause me, this nigga here, if I would be ASAP Rocky. If my woman is a billionaire, I'm finna drop a liquor. I'm finna fucking make a new album. I'm finna put another kid in this motherfucker. And then I'm gonna do some other shit. I'm yeah. What? What you mean? It ain't enough. It ain't enough clothes being needing folded in the motherfucking world. You mean, man, you can put I might tattoo that shit on my back because if we both was here, we didn't took these kids to Disney World once. We could have took them 7 times if we both, but you know, whatever. Y'all niggas ain't trying to be happy. That's okay.
they trying to have some fine shit on their arm.
Man,
They trying to get a joint that validates their ego. That's what
I
I think.
want
That's what a lot of people are doing. They trying to get relationships that validate they.
give me some thick shit with some dreams of her own. That's what I want. Fine shit sound whatever. I want me a thick. I don't even want no shit. I want a thick motherfucker. Yeah, give me that thick motherfucker who got some goals and ambitions. I don't want nothing. I want fine shit, bad shit. I want that thick motherfucker over. Because thick motherfuckers, I went to school with some thick motherfuckers. They did well. They doing well in life. I want
Mhm.
that. I want that thick motherfucker with some goals and dreams and aspirations of her own. Help me, nigga.
You ain't never found a good woman out of a bad bitch.
Yeah, no, that's not how that evolution goes. I used to I loved Pokemon and I listen and I watched Digimon too. It ain't never worked that way. It ain't never it ain't never gone that way. Them motherfuckers is the Hercules of the fucking of the partnership space. Nah,
Mr. Satan.
yeah, yep, yeah.
Exactly that.
Fuck no. Um, all right, niggas. Thanks for listening. And you know, we'll see you next time. Gonna go do our parts to, you know, make the world a better place and all that horse shit.
Still our contractual.
Okay, ta for now. Bye.